I've thought about you since that night at Tintagel.
Lady Honoria, are you flirting?
The Buccaneers is an Apple TV original based in the 1870s, where rich American girls go to London for a husband, but mostly focuses on a love triangle between the lead, Nan, and two best friends, Theo and Guy. Definitely Team Guy, by the way, but in between that love triangle, we get Honoria and Mabel. Honoria and Mabel meet when Mabel and her friends leave New York City to England for their friend Conchita's wedding. Honoria is very self-restrained. She was raised to be reserved like most of the women in England, while Mabel and her friends are the complete opposite. Loud, fun, and outspoken, but gets judged by it by the locals. But even with their differences, the two hit it off and become close really fast.
It's like she's fearless. Extraordinary to know what that even means.
I think one day you just figure it out.
But one day, things go left when Honoria shows her feelings about her brother marrying Mabel's best friend.
So, Ginny and Seddon, did you hear? So when the bills must be paid.
Your family are desperate to make my friends feel worthless when they lower themselves to marry your brothers.
But during this house tour, Mabel tried to get Honoria back by trying to embarrass her about knowing the history of a castle.
We do have castles in New York, you know. They built one in Central Park years ago. When was this one built?
1342.
Oh, okay.
I guess she thought she wouldn't know all the facts and tried to catch her on it. I don't know, but by the next scene, they were outside kissing in the rain. They were at one of those parties where you're supposed to be looking for a man to marry and possibly, most likely, be unhappy with, but they took it outside. After that, the bond between them gets stronger. Honoria starts coming out of her shell more, and she finally lets Mabel know how she feels about her.
I've thought about you since that night at Tintagel.
Lady Honoria, are you flirting?
For fun and as a joke, they start playing make-believe and pretend they're a married couple.
You, my dear, have impeccable taste. Those curtains you chose for our parlor are a delight. You know, it's a bit smaller than I remember.
But exactly what we need.
And that's when we get this scene. They both catch feelings, but Mabel becomes scared and nervous about the fact that they're girls and how there's no way they can be together or accept it. So because of that, Mabel goes off on Honoria and hurts Honoria's feelings. But that was kind of unnecessary. I mean, I get it. I get the pressure, but she didn't have to go off on that girl like that.
You make me brave. You're the bravest person I've ever met.
I walked out. Our whole lives are pretending. Every single one of my friends gets to dance and giggle and hold hands in public the whole time, and nobody minds a bit.
Honoria was just trying to play make-believe again, pretending that the two of them had kids. Mabel's like, stop with this pretending. I'm tired of it. You know we cannot have kids.
They don't have to be brave. They get celebrated. They get a ring and a party, and they have parents that can bear to look at them. Pretending bores me.
She did apologize about it later. She brings her a music box as a Christmas gift and talking about how terrible she feels.
That evening, after we'd been at the boathouse, I was awful. I'm so sorry, my mouth sometimes. I feel terrible.
It was entirely new for me. What happened, what we did, what I felt.
She tells Honoria she has an idea, and if it works, she'll be able to stay with her in England. Her plan was to have this guy named Miles propose to her, not because they were both in love, but because they're both queer. If they get married, they'll be able to live their life however they want it with whoever they wanted. Her plan worked and he proposed. Now Honoria had no idea what Mabel's plan was, and she was standing right back there when he proposed to her. You can only imagine how she was feeling and what was going through her head. Later on, she did tell Honoria what her plan was, but Honoria doesn't take it too well.
I got engaged so I could carry on being me.
So that's who you are then, a liar and a disappointment. I was fine before I met you. I'd never been under any impression that I might be special, but then you arrived. I hate you for making me feel like I could be loved.
But when Miles starts talking about him and Mabel having kids in the future to keep up the lie, Mabel starts rethinking the plan.
After the wedding, we get to just be as we are.
Until the children come along. I assume, well, even a convenient marriage can continue the line.
After he tells her this, she's feeling like she cannot keep up with this lie anymore, and she decides to come out to her sister, who was very accepting and loving, unlike Mabel's mother, when she walks in on her with the maid. And we'll get to that later.
I know I should have had butterflies about Harry Hamilton. That's what's normal. But I never did. I had those feelings about girls.
This was one of the best coming out scenes I've ever seen on TV. I think it was done really well.
You're talking about love. How can love ever be wrong? If that's what gives you butterflies, then you are exactly who you're supposed to be. Thank you for telling me.
And this is the maid scene I was talking about. It seems like before Mabel went to England and even knew who Honoria was, she had a little thing going on with the maid.
But Mother, listen, upstairs.
Now, Mabel, put on your shawl properly, and that's the end of it. However will we find you a husband if you're only ever wearing half a shawl?
But after her talk with her sister, she tells Honoria she's not getting married anymore and that she wants to be with her so that they can make their own world together.
I'm not getting married. Perhaps if we can be brave, we can make our own world. They don't know who we are, but they don't need to. Yes, we do. We do. We do.
So it looks like this was a happy ending for these two. And if there's a season 2, we'll be seeing a lot more of them, hopefully. And if so, hopefully their scenes can be a lot more longer, because honestly, they weren't that long. But let me know your thoughts on Honoria and Mabel. And do you watch the Buccaneers? Let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.
What are you reading?
A book.
Yeah, I think I heard of that.